So it's been about 2 weeks since my friend's passing, and life has just been very melancholy. And recently, I was on his channel and I was watching old videos we did. Like back in 2012 to like 2015, we had this League of Legends series where we would talk about the patch updates and give tips for our favorite champions. And it's something that we did for like weekly. We had like a small little audience then, I remember. And I think we got to like, well, on his channel, he got to 27K subscribers, but then he started like doing like just Game Boy, like Game Boy events, like old school games, and just like more older school games, like you know, like emulations of Sega Genesis and Nintendo 64, like the old school Mario's, and then he'll do like modern games, but he'll stick to like the old classic retro games. That's what he liked the most. But just going through his channel and looking at some of the videos we did, and just looking at his last video that he posted about 3 months ago, and it's like, wow, somebody can be there in your life and you can talk to this person, and then the next thing you know, they're just gone out of existence, which shows you that we live in a hell realm. It's just, even talking about it now, it's like, that's the only thing I'm thinking about is like, how do you find friends like that? How do you find people in the world who you relate to like that? And the few people you do find, you guys always live in they always live in another state, another country. They're never close by, right? And I think it's done like that way on purpose. I think the Demiurge notices that if certain people are around each other, they could build, they think alike. They don't argue or fight like that. They actually understand what life's about. And I think certain people, when they're taken out of your life, is due to destabilize you. For certain people, depending if they like the person or not, it can make them stronger. But for a majority of people, they like, some of their family members, like normies. They want to please and impress their family and friends. They want to, like, if they get a partner, they want to show off to their family and friends. That's why the partner has to be a Chad or a Tyrone. If it's somebody that looks like us, she's going to be embarrassed. Well, number one, she's not going to even give us a chance or a light of the day. And number two, even if she does, her friends and family is going to convince her to dump us within a week anyway. So for guys like us, it's like, damn, there's truly no escape. Like, you're truly trapped in a shadow abyss beneath a shadow castle in the basement, dwelling with all types of terrorizing creatures of the darkness. That's how it feels like to be in this position. And what makes it really bad is that this is going to keep happening. You're going to keep on losing people in your life, one by one by one, and eventually you're going to be the one that, like, have you ever, like, been to a graveyard and you look at the people and you're like, damn, I wonder how that person looked like? Or sometimes they'll have, like, the picture of the person when they're smiling in life, and you see it and you look at the graveyard and it says, whatever, John Smith, born in 1923, died in 2007, and it's just like, it's, damn, that person's whole life is just right there. And you hear the birds chirping in the background, and maybe if you're one of those funerals, or not funeral, if you're one of those graveyards where there's cars driving by, people just driving by, living their life. And one day you're going to be, well, hopefully, if you're lucky enough to even have a gravestone, if World War III doesn't happen and we return to the city of Lumeria, or return to the continent of Lumeria and Atlantis, just disappear, but one day we're going to be gone in this world. So we have to really think about that. We have to prioritize our time wisely. And I'm telling you guys, you may not think the spirit world is real. You may think it's fantasy. Like, we don't know what happens after we pass away. But I want to be spiritually prepared. I want to be prepared for anything that goes on the other side. I'm hoping it just lights out and nothing happens. But I know, like, look how complex this life is. You think when your heart stops beating and your soul leaves your body, it's just going to end, and you're just going to step into eternal darkness? No, the Demiurge is not done with you. He has to lose some more. He's trying to soul trap you, and then erase your memories and throw you back into this body and do a reincarnation, according to the Gnostic text, So our job is to avoid that. Our job is to gain gnosis, learn the spiritual passwords to get past the archonic gateways that block our souls from getting to the pleroma, and finally get into the gates of the pleroma, the three gates of the pleroma that guard the pleroma itself. And each gate, it takes away some of the archonic brainwashing and programming they did to our souls and spirits, to our souls as pure. Then we get into the pleroma. And once we're in the pleroma, we get reunited with the monad and Sophia, and her daughter Zoe and Barbello and all those in the pleroma. We can start creating our own worlds and realms. That's why the Demiurge envies us. According to the Gnostic texts, we are gods. We are fallen gods that have been trapped by a god that was created by mistake. You know, the reason why the Demiurge even exists is because Sophia tried to create without her syzygy, without her partner. And in the high heavenly realms, you have to create with perfection. There's a male energy and a female energy, and together they create worlds and realms and things of that nature. Sophia tried to create a being without her partner, which resulted in the Demiurge, a grotesque evil monster, which is the God of the Bible. And the God of the Bible, he knows that you are divine sparks that fell when Sophia fell. He knows that. And he knows that if you get to the pleroma, you're out of his reach and out of his power. And you can pretty much just, in the pleroma, you can just think things into existence. You want a planet, you want an ice world with like cities like Star Wars, you just think it, boom, it appears. You can start creating creatures and you can start being your own god in this dimension. That's the pleroma, and it's peaceful. There's no wars. Nobody's competing. There's plenty of this. There's no rent. There's no jobs. There's none of that. There's just infinite creation. And this is what this God is trying to stop us from getting, according to the Gnostic text, So that's just something to think about, man. Just food for thought. But in this reality, we face so much turmoil. It does feel like something's attacking you. It does feel like something's targeting you, you know, not being able to get a girlfriend, trapped at some crappy job, just a job where, it's not enough for a grown man, especially a grown man when you're like past the age of 21 and you're getting paid like $800 to $1,200 a month. And to most people, they think, oh, that's how much I get paid. That's a lot. It's like, if you're a grown man, if you want to really get groceries in the house, it's going to cost you about $800, $1,200, depending on how big the family is you're with. If you're married with children, if you're a single guy, it's a little cheaper, right? But still, you're going to want to eat. Like every now and then, you want to treat yourself to something, you know. Even in my bad position, I try to treat myself at least one time a month if I have the money. Try to give me something nice to make. Because when I eat right, my mind gets right, and my grind gets tight. And try to do something nice for yourself, man. Even though we've been through a life of hell, we deserve some happiness, damn it. Even if it's your favorite Coke, if it's your favorite cake, you know, your favorite ice cream, whatever it is, man, just try to cope with that because a lot of us, that's pretty much all we have is our copes. A lot of us, we have no one really to rely on. And if we do have any type of like associates or friends, it's very few. And it's very few and far between. Because as you get older, and especially a guy, especially when you're like black pilled or you're somebody that just thinks a certain way that's not in the social in the normal social paradigm of society, you're somebody that's going to be targeted. You're somebody that people are just going to look at you everywhere you go. You're going to feel like you're being attacked because you are. People say that, oh, looks don't matter, it's about your personality. And it's like, only a pretty girl would say that, or a Chad would say that. Anybody with common sense will understand that life is pretty much about looks because people judge you in milliseconds on how you look like. Now, if you look like somebody that's attractive, beautiful, you're young, then people will be more susceptible to you. People are willing to give you more opportunities. People are willing to let you command, let you rule, let you kind of do your own thing. People are willing to support you. How many times do we see like these big YouTubers where like they're evil to their audience, they scam their audience, they lie to their audience, they get caught, just they get caught doing all types of evil crap, and then they find out they're scummy people. Like, the thing happened with Doctor Disrespect, and I'm gonna get too deep in that, but you guys know what happened with Doctor Disrespect, how everybody kind of turned on him, and then now look at him, everybody kind of forgot about it, and he's still a multi-millionaire, he's still successful. But any small creator who's actually going through it actually really needs help. There's very few people that will help that person, and the people that help that person's going to remember them forever. And if he ever gets in a position of power, he's going to bless them as they blessed him. But it shows you that in a lot of people that are successful on YouTube, it just coincides with their looks a lot of the time. Not all the time, not all the time. There are some successful YouTubers that, if it wasn't for YouTube, they'll be in our position, but they made it because of YouTube. But certain big YouTubers, I mean, just look at PewDiePie, blue eyes, gold hair, in his prime. That's all I gotta say. Is you notice there's a certain theme with the bigger YouTubers. They're aesthetically pleasing to a lot of people, and that's one thing. And that's another brutal truth about YouTube and about life is like, if people don't like the way you look, they don't want to listen to you because everybody has the messenger. Everybody wants to listen to somebody that they like, somebody they can relate to, somebody they can associate with. At least I do. People that I listen to, or people that I follow. I don't like the word follow, but people that I listen to, you know, they have some sense. These are people that I would kick it with in real life, people that I would smoke a blunt with, you know, um, go paintballing with, you know what I mean? Go fishing with and talk about life. These like cool people. But guys like us, we gotta always keep our guard up as well. Because just like water coming in a sinking ship, the enemy is always coming to try to find a way and try to find a weak entry point to break you down. So you have to always be prepared, mentally, physically, spiritually. You can't let this society really just shape you into nothing. Yeah, you may not have a good job. You may not never had a woman. You may have never been on a date. But that doesn't make you any less than these people that experience all of that and they're still assholes. It didn't make them better people. There's people that experienced our dreams. There's people that got the girls that we would consider dream girls. There's people that got those girls. There's people that got the houses and the cars and the careers that we wanted. There's people living those lives that we dreamed of, and they're all assholes. Maybe not every, if not all of them, most of them. You know, most of them, if not all of them, most of them. Right? I give them a benefit of the doubt, even though they'll give us no benefit of the doubt. Right? But I'll show mercy, right? So it's very strange how this world works, where there's a perpetual cycle of coordinated pain. It seems like if you just like, I want you like the next look the next 24 48 hours, just do this, just watch, like, do your daily routine, go to your job, do what you got to do, and note it, and now watch yourself in third person and say this to yourself. This is what I've been doing for a long time, over a decade. Is sometimes I just watch, okay, what's going to happen today? Is this, okay, I gotta go to this place today. And I wonder if this can happen, that can happen, or that can happen, And then sometimes you'll find out that, damn, I knew that was going to happen, or this is going to happen, or damn, the bus is going to be late, or this. You start noticing all these little things that add up to make you pissed, to make you angry, to make you sad, to make you anxious, to make you scared, to make you fearful, to make you undetermined to accomplish your goals, dreams, and aspirations and inspirations. And you'll start noticing, okay, this is being done deliberately. And when you get my age, then you start to really see the world for what it is. A merciless, ruthless, bloody place. It's like a battle royale. Literally. Everybody's out for themselves. And then nobody really wants to build. And then the few people you find that do want to build, is like, you guys live so far away. But even though we're in the digital age, it still costs money to get certain things done. Money, time, and belief. And then also you can put let's say you get like 10 people together and you try to make a video game. That doesn't mean that the video game's going to sell and you're going to be a millionaire, even if you work hard on it. Like, you got to keep on trying on that for years. You got to have like a 15-year plan. That ain't something you think you're going to get rich quick. You're going to have to learn how to code, how to make better video games with each iteration. You have to be patient. But a lot of us, we come from backgrounds where we're tired of being patient. We've been patient our whole lives, working worthless jobs, living these lives that make us feel like we're nothing, and being around people that are extremely toxic, volatile, want to fight, want to cause problems. They don't like peace. They don't like no type of reconciliation. All they want is obliteration, and they want you to kiss their boots. It's ridiculous. And it really feels like the world tries its best to shape you into something that's just a grotesque monster. That's what it feels like. You can be somebody that really, really has a talent in this world, and this world will find every way, every excuse to make sure you'll never make it. But then somebody else can be extremely whack, and then they'll be at the top of the position, And it's like, how did that even happen? That lets you know there's something that's controlling something. At least in my observations, And it sucks, man, when you know being a male is hard enough. Just being a man in the world is hard, bro. But but adding the skin color configuration, like I know not everybody may understand this, but I'm speaking from my personal perspectives and observations and analyzations and calculations. And from what I've seen from my skin color configuration, it just adds a lot of annoyance and irritation that I don't really like dealing with. Like when you go to certain places, people automatically think you can't speak or articulate yourself. They automatically tense up, freeze up, or they automatically show their biases. And it's like, damn, it's like, I understand that there's people that have the same visual cadence as me, but it doesn't necessarily mean we're all the same. I understand that's how the world perceives it, but I don't like it because little Day Day with the AK, that lit it spray yesterday, did some crime. And then I come into the area not even knowing there was a crime committed, in some area, and I go into a store and they automatically assume that I'm about to do something and my life could be in danger, you know? They could be on edge. So this is why people like me and just people a lot of us who are rejected by society, period, a lot of us stay away from big crowds. When I was younger, I had no problem going to crowds and stuff, and I played football, and so I had no problem. But now as I'm older, I'm just so paranoid in a lot of ways, but paranoid in a good way. Paranoid, like thinking, okay, what is the Demiurge going to use against me today to try to attack me, to try to lose me? And some days I just go without thinking about it and just go about my business and not even think about it. But then when I look back on the day, I look at all the little things that added up. I remember when I walked past this place, it hit my toe. Ow, remember you, like all of a sudden, you turn on the damn sink and then the thing breaks and then the water keeps coming on and you got to find those that big screw thing and then tie it up and then turn the water back off and just random shit starts happening. You go to wash your clothes and you thought you put it on hot, but somehow it was on cold, and it's just it's like just all stuff like that adds up. Or you go on Instagram and you see a girl that you like and you thought she was single, but you never assume girls online that are single, especially they got Instagram. They got so many guys in their DMs. It's unreal. And they probably have multiple boyfriends at once anyway. These girls be playing. These girls are the players nowadays. Like, what you talking about? Men are the ones that are losing nowadays. Men are the ones that are having trouble getting laid. At least regular average Joes. Women are the players. I'm talking about average women that are sixes, women that are fives. Hell, even some women that are fours. I've seen women that are fours that have ASMR channels, and they got simps all in their channels just kissing their butts. And then you have these girls saying, "I'm so alone. I don't have no friends." There's this one girl, she has a video talking about how she doesn't have any friends, and you look in the comment section, and you see her getting all this. I think it was Sloth. I think he has it in one of his posts. And you go on his post and you see like this girl talking about how she has no friends. And you look at the comment section and she has all this support. And then you go to somebody that's like one of us and we get no damn support like that. And there's nobody like encourage. Like you have people you got people trying to attack you in real life for you just making videos, and your videos are not even about them or aimed at them. Your videos are not attacking nobody. You're just making videos talking about your life. Yet if I was a cute girl of European descent and I called myself Black Pill Villainess and I was a cute, beautiful white girl and I had blue eyes and gold hair, nice butt, nice bazookas, skinny waist, nice hip ratio. This channel, I probably had 100,000. Now I talked, she talks the exact same way I talk now, but just in a female white girl way. This channel would have 100,000 subscribers. You know that, and it would make enough where I'll be able to get a house probably. You know what I mean, or an apartment, or something. But since I'm me, and my skin color configuration plus I'm a male, there's people that just don't want to listen to me just because of that, even if I'm telling the truth. Because everybody has their favorite black pillar that they like to listen to, like their favorite that they just, admire no matter what, right? But to me, truth is truth. No matter who it comes from, truth is the truth. But not everybody respects the truth like that. A lot of people are just brain rotted. Like I hate to say this, though I don't like to, call people stupid, but a lot of people are just stupid and they're idiots simply because they don't use their mind to understand. Like when school tells you certain things, it's like, okay, I take the information or whatever, because school teaches you just to regurgitate information. It doesn't teach you how to utilize that information in a society that faces a myriad of fluctuations, meaning that school will tell you this about this. Oh, do this, do that. And then they don't take into account for the inflation in 10 years where that job that you spent, 10 years trying to get, or 4 years or 5 years, how many years you're going to spend 4 years, 5 years trying to get that degree. When you finally get that job, it's not going to even pay as much as when you started to get that degree. So what they should be teaching people is entrepreneurship and financial literacy, but they don't want financial literacy. They want financial ignorance, because if you're financially ignorant, you're somebody that can be controlled. Because if you don't work for yourself, you're going to work for somebody else. I repeat, if you don't work for yourself, you're going to work for somebody else. That's just how this world goes. The job you're at right now, there's a multi-millionaire or a billionaire that owns it. That's the CEO. And you probably never shook his hand. You probably never met him. You probably never had a conversation. You probably was never in the same room as him, you know? Yet you work for him every day. Well, you're really working for yourself so you can survive, but you get what I mean. But if you had your own business and you were the CEO, I guarantee you would enjoy life a lot more, as anybody would in that position. My dream is to be a damn multi-millionaire CEO, but all we have is our dreams, right? Especially guys like us in this positions. It's excruciating knowing that all this time passed you by and you don't really have anything to show for it that can shut people up, you know? And I never ever in a million years thought I'll be a YouTuber or somebody that makes videos on YouTube like frequently. Like this was never a part of my plan. No, like when I had my other YouTube channels, I would just post them frequently. I'll just post random stuff or just little things here and there, or whatever, and nobody watched, nobody cared. It's just I mean, I had like a little tiny audience, but it wasn't like this. This is the first time I had any real success on YouTube, and it's thanks to you guys. So I appreciate you guys for watching. But I know we're going through this hell right now. I know some days you feel like not even getting out of bed. I know that's if you even have a bed, you don't sleep on the floor. Right? I know some days it's hard to focus. It's hard to think about a future when your past is so terrible, when your past is so irreparable, and time flies by so fast. One moment you're a kid. I still remember being in kindergarten. I still remember it. I still remember being 5 years old in my first day of school. Like, I remember it. And then that flew by so fast. And I remember when I was 10 years old. And I remember when I was 12. And I remember when I was 15. And I remember when I was 18, 19. I remember when I was 21. I remember when I was 25. Like, these are like things that I remember, but they happened so long ago. And I just feel so old and defeated now, because even if I am talented, if you don't have anybody to help you and put you in the position, it's just going to be like a fish swimming around in an aquarium, you know? Or like what SeaWorld does to the orcas. The orcas, they start to go crazy because they're not supposed to be in those tiny little aquariums. I mean, these are whales and sentient beings that utilize different verbal frequencies to communicate. And they have different type of frequencies and different types of communications in different areas. Like the orcas in Antarctica may not be able to communicate with the orcas that live in like the Caribbean area, because orcas live around the whole world. And they each have like their own language like humans. It's like if you take somebody that's English and you put them in France, they may not know the French language, even though a lot of people, a lot of even though a lot of people are multilingual, it's Americans that are not usually multilingual, right? I always wanted to learn Japanese and German. It's just that my brain now is just so fried. I just say F it. But if I was like 12, I'll be on YouTube every single day trying to learn Japanese or German, Korean, stuff like that. Because I think expanding your mind helps as well, and it helps you to cope. I don't know, man. You know, when you get older too, man, you start to notice that just being alone is just its own peace. I want you guys to start doing this. Listen up carefully. If you can, if you can find a place where it's quiet or quiet enough, try to sit in utter silence. No music, no ambient sounds, no just pure silence. Like it's so quiet that like if you have one of those light bulbs that make those noises, the bzzz sounds, you can hear the light bulb buzzing. Like make it silent like that, and then if you can, turn the light bulb off so there's no noise at all, and just sit in silence and think and visualize. If you had the power to create your own life, what would you really want? And I want you to visualize it. Don't hold back, even if it's impossible. Think it anyway. I've done this many times. One time I was thinking about marrying Emma Watson, being a billionaire, and all of that. And then I'm telling you, the energy I felt was like pure joy, pure happiness. I remember taking that energy and then writing a song right after that. And then remember people loved it, right? So try to sit in silence and just think about a life that, even though you can never have it, even though just thinking about it pisses you off, because it did to me a little bit, just thinking about something I can't have made me mad, but I did it anyway. I just pretended that it was possible. And then boom, you know, you feel that energy. And that energy is a sort of type of peaceful synergy in a way. It may not work for everybody, but it helped me out a little bit, so I was just sharing that. But it's really difficult in this life to try to be positive in a world that's just built on negativity. And let's be honest, man, a lot of us, we come from some very messed up positions, and if we could go back in time, we would. But unfortunately, the time is just so long ago, and our minds have been broken and fried for such a long time. And I always wonder if if we would have made it and had everything we ever wanted, how different we would be as people right now. I wouldn't have this YouTube channel. If I was successful and had everything I wanted, I wouldn't be making these videos, because what would I be talking about? I'm successful, rich, and handsome. I have anything I desire. There's no need for like what? What problem? What demiurge? Demi who? I'm rich and I'm a millionaire, you see? But so it's a blessing in disguise that I'm kind of in this position, because being so poor and downtrodden and having nothing and being humiliated, obliterated, annihilated, devastated, isolated, and mercilessly attacked, you know, it taught me how evil people are, and it taught me the realness and the rawness and the authenticity of this world, the authenticity of the evilness of this world. We live in a sick, evil world, and if anybody tells you different, they don't know what they're talking about, right? So, me being in a poverty position and me going through hell in life actually led to me having clarity in life, and clarity is rarity. There's some people that may have it better than me, but they're confused. They don't know what a demiurge is. They don't know why some certain bad things happen. They think it's just, well, I'm successful, whatever. Those sucks for those people. They don't know there's an evil demiurge that are putting them in position on purpose, but then he's going to come and collect later. They don't know that some of us, not all of us, contain a divine spark. That's not in everybody. Not everybody has the divine spark from the real God, the real Father, the real Most High. The real Most High is the highest and the goodest God. You got to go to the real Most High, not Yah the Both, who's the most low. No, that's the wicked God of the Bible. You got to go to the real God. The real God doesn't have no Bible written by men that are, just so people can be obedient and pay their tithes every Sunday, so they can be, and then their lives are still hell. You're praying for somebody to live, and they still pass away. That church didn't help at all. So that goes to show you, people, they still close their eyes to the truth, because if they don't have that God, what do they have? And they have to understand what gnosis is. They have to understand having the divine spark. But a lot of people don't want to understand that. They want to be ignorant on the subject and then wonder why they keep getting obliterated. You know what's crazy is when I used to pray, a lot of bad stuff would happen. And isn't that the opposite? When I used to pray and be close to the demiurge, I would have a lot of bad shit happening. And I kept praying, which led to me kept praying more, which led to him I didn't know about it at the time, but I was being fed off of through my prayers. So when I stopped praying years ago, I noticed less bad shit kept happening. But when the bad shit happened, it was always something big and major, or it was a lot more little annoyances than something big and major would happen. And that's how I know the Demiurge is still keeping track and trying to lose me. Because if you're somebody in this world that's a neat, then the Demiurge can't stand neats, because neats stay in their room all day. They don't give anybody a chance to attack them. They only come out late at night to eat when everybody's asleep. Then they go downstairs and they walk in the kitchen and cook a hot pocket or something, you know, grab a couple of sodas to take, grab a bag of chips and go right back into the dungeon, and avoid everybody. They may say hi to the cat. They may go outside, let the dogs pee, or may go outside in the backyard, smoke a joint, take a hit of your vaporizer for a bit, and then go back in your neat cave. But it's gonna be hard for you. But you're not in a 9 to 5 every day, so you don't have to worry about going to the traffic, somebody arguing with you, waiting at the bus stop and watching people get into a fist fight, people stinking on the bus. Then you go into work, you got to deal with people who are just ignorant, arrogant, and just there to cause trouble. And you got to deal with that, and you're being loose the whole time. You're angry at that job. You're angry you ain't got no money. You're angry you ain't got no woman. You're angry that you're a loser. You're angry that you're a grown man and don't have control or power of your life. You're angry that you have to just even be. You're angry that you're even angry. That's a multitude and a myriad of things to be angry with in this world, and they're all legitimate. We have legitimate rage against the God of this machine. You know, what's that one band, Rage Against the Machine? Yeah. Like we have to form and storm a rage against this evil machine, this wicked spiritual trap that's trapping human souls into this evil conspiracy of darkness and sickness. We as people should be able to live the life that we really want. We shouldn't be trapped and restricted. Why are we restricted? Why can't we live how we want to live? Why can't I have a freaking mansion right now if I want one? Right? Because I guarantee you, Mr. Steinberg would have a mansion, just like Mr. Steinberg will own a record company. You know what I mean? They'll own the company, they'll sign the deal, they'll do all of that, right? So Mr. Steinberg can have it, but, Mr. Tyrell can't, so it's like, what the heck is going on, I don't know, bro. It's just, what's the point of an existence when you can't really truly be happy? What's the point of existence where you feel most at peace when you're away from people? That doesn't sound like a good heaven to me. Wouldn't it be more interesting if people around you actually gave you energy to make you go harder? And some certain people, they are like that, but people like us can't find them. There are certain women out there, certain girls out there that if she was in your life, she would literally give you energy. She would batterize. She would give you like a battery in your back. You would start writing books, get the book done. Hell, you would start the YouTube channel you've been hesitating for years to start, and boom, pop out channels every day. Boom, you writing on your book. Like just having her in your life, having her love and having her believe in you will make you work even harder. As crazy as that sounds, just the truth. Because a lot of us, like, there's men that are over the age of 25 that have never even hugged a woman or felt the touch of a woman. Besides like a family member on family evenings, hugging your auntie, hugging your grandmother, stuff like that. But like real women, that's like not in their family, like a real woman, like, that you have to meet with your friends or meet out there in the wild, evil, scary world. There's some men out there that have never touched a woman. There's men out there that are virgins and are almost 30 years old. Hell, there's virgins at 30. And these are the rejected and ejected, and these are the isolated and devastated in society. These are the men in society that society despises. These are the men in society that society watches, but they don't watch them as like somebody that they should help. They watch them as somebody that they need to keep tabs on in case they get out of line, but they're on their own. And then they wonder why men silently drop out of society, why men don't want to participate anymore. Why would you want to participate in a society that already showed you doesn't want nothing to do with you? And you're gonna keep on putting your hand in the fire and getting burned. Now you're burned to the bones, and now you don't even have no fingers no more, and they just fall off. Right? We got to use common sense here, and common sense says focus on money. Get your money up. Money is the only thing that matters in the physical world. Okay. I was watching Savvy Guy. I remember Savvy Guy was saying like I think he's talking about his dad. And Savvy Guy was saying his dad told him, you live in the physical world, not the spiritual world. And I was like, that's some real shit. He's like, you got to worry about the physical. And I understand that. And you need to worry about that, But also I feel like, You should always think about the spiritual in the back of your mind as well and make time for that when you can, but you shouldn't be a fool about it. You should be smart about it. Handle your money, handle your business, stand on business. And when you have time, because you have a lot of money, then you focus on your spirituality and how to get to the pleroma and not end up in hell, and not end up back reincarnated in this crap and get your soul trapped and your mind wiped. And then you be praising the Demiurge all over again. And then in the next, if you pass away within the next 50 years, we're probably going to be reincarnated in the year 2100, but none of us are going to remember that we were born in a time of gaming. Not like in the future, we're probably going to be in the future. If we get reincarnated, they're going to be like, back in the days, people used to have disc in their video games. Wow, they have disc in video games. That's so ancient. Now we got the neural modifications and augmentations. Now we got the neural mods. Now we got the neural video games, the brain chips, right? And we'll be born in that time, and we wouldn't even remember that we were the people that originally played the original PlayStations. We've had the discs, we had the Xboxes, the GameCubes, the Sega Genesis, the Sega Saturns, the Dreamcast, the PlayStation 2, the PS3, the PS4, you know, PlayStation 5, Xbox 360, Xbox Series X, Xbox Series whatever, like we were actually there, but then we got mind wiped and reincarnated, so we don't even know. So we're thinking this is our first life in the future. How many times have we been mind wiped? Because I feel like an old soul. Because I feel like even when I was younger, I knew much more. Just intuitively, I knew much more than I should have known at a young age. What does that say? That means that my soul has been doing, like I don't know how many times, but I've definitely been through this ringer a lot. And this next time, when I pass away this time, I want to get to the pleroma. But the Demiurge is going to use everything to stop us. Remember, when he knows you're scared. So if you're scared, let's say you're scared of water. He's going to have you. You're going to find yourself inside in the middle of an ocean somewhere, like a pitch black ocean too. So make sure you make it scary with a giant whirlpool in the middle. He may have just enough of light to see that it's a dangerous giant whirlpool. And you're in this pitch black water and you're spinning, and you're getting closer and closer to the circle. And he's like, and then the Demiurge shows the light, and he's like, either go into that black hole whirlpool in the middle of this ocean with giant waves coming at you. He may put some giant sea monsters or giant sharks in there to scare you, maybe a giant octopus, maybe anything in there to scare you and terrorize you. Thunderstorms, boom, loud thunderstorms. You're sitting there swimming in this black water around you. There's 1,000-foot waves and monsters all around you. And then the Demiurge shows you a light, and you're so scared. You're like, I'm scared. You just run to the light. Boom, you got soul trapped and reincarnated. You see how easy that is? And I know that if that was me, that definitely probably would have worked on me, because I would want to just get to the light to try to escape. But then, boom, I didn't know that was the soul trap. Remember, the Demiurge is going to use everything to trap you on the next side. First, he may come up to you, showing you lost loved ones. Oh, this is your grandmother, and she may know certain things. May look just like your grandmother, talk just like her, but that's just an archon that's shapeshifting, and they know then since they have access to your Akashic records and your memories, they can access it. So they know, like, your memories, so they can pretend from things in your memories and trick you and deceive you, or they can scare you and frighten you. Remember, these beings have a multitude of ways of doing their wickedness and their evil. They have many ways of doing it, and we have to be on guard about it, and we have to be on guard, because this world is not going to get any easier for us. Give me 1 second real quick. I'm trying to give me 1 second. All right. So all we really have is ourselves in this world, honestly. Like, if you really think that if there was something coming to save us, it would have saved us already. We've already been through too much in this lifetime, in this lifeline, and it robbed us blind. I'm angry because I couldn't be who I could have been. I'm angry because this world has held me back far too long and has held a lot of us back. Being trapped in social toxic situations and events, having people who just met you disrespect you, having people talk behind your back, having people wage one-sided wars against you. Like, you don't even know these people or know they exist, but they're waging war against you. Having family members do the same thing, where they're waging a one-sided war against you, and you're wondering why this person doesn't like you, or they just don't like you, or because he doesn't have a job. No, it's not because he doesn't have a job. It's because you see potential in him that you don't have. You Heilig, and go worship your Demiurge every Sunday. You know, you go to church every Sunday and you're still a terrible, evil bastard. That goes to show you that a lot of people that go to church are not the holiest people that they claim to be. They still gossip in church. People still talk shit. People still smoke weed. People still have sex. People still listen to worldly music, as they say. So they're not perfect. The true God, the true Father, the true Most High is beyond all of this. The true God is beyond what we can even imagine. He's not somebody begging you to worship him or he's going to send you to hellfire all day. That's a perpetual child. That's somebody that just got God powers and now they think they're ultimate because the real gods are trapped or defenseless and he can do to us whatever it wants. Yes, the Demiurge can create worlds and realms. Yes, the Demiurge can create creatures. Yes, when he looses you, that negative energetic manifestational frequency is the energy that he uses to hold his realms together and to create new worlds and new realms. He literally uses our energy of fear and emotions and devastation and pain and anxiety. He takes that loose energy and uses it to make himself more powerful, to create more realms, more worlds, and more defenses against the pleroma. So, yeah, man, that's crazy. That's pretty much all I want to talk about, man. You know, you guys take it easy. I thank you guys for listening to me and supporting me, showing love, cash apping, and all that. You know, I really appreciate it because these videos, man, are my audio logs. Think of it. Think of these videos as audio logs from a video game like Doom 3, or an audio log from Dead Space or Dead Space 2, or an audio log from a horror game. Look at these videos like that, audio logs. You go inside the abandoned research facility, the abandoned lab, and you see you know, you see Professor Heisenberg, you know, and you see Professor Heisenberg's data pad, and you access it, and you listen to him doing experiments, and he's just telling you what he was doing in real time in that exact moment. But yeah, you guys take it easy. Peace.